Jules Verne, the man who saw the future. How well can we really know a genius? They live, they die, but some carve their names into history. There are people who live far ahead of their time, and one of them was Jules Verne, the man who could see the future. Just imagine, at a time when Ataturk struggled with bioproblems, when the world was torn by wars, and science was still taking baby steps. In France, a quiet, introverted man was writing the future with his pen, unaware that he would one day become immortal. The year is 2025. NASA launches a new rocket. People talk to each other through video calls. A ghost wanders through the corridors of a castle. But what if I told you that one man wrote about all this 160 years ago? Would you believe it? Jules Verne was born on February 8, 1828, in France, into a wealthy family. He was different from the start, fascinated by stories, the sea, and adventure. At just 11, he secretly boarded a ship to sail to India. When his father caught him, he made a promise. I will no longer sail the real seas, only those of my imagination. His family wanted him to study law, but all he wanted was to write, to dream of things no one else could even imagine. In 1865, he wrote a book, From the Earth to the Moon. Think about it, the world was still powered by steam engines back then, yet Verne described a 3-person crew traveling to the moon in a space capsule, and 104 years later, in 1969, Apollo 11 landed on the moon. With 3 astronauts, launched from Florida exactly as Verne had written. His capsule was made of aluminum just like Apollo's. He even wrote that it would fall into the Pacific Ocean and be rescued by the Navy, and that's exactly what happened. This was no coincidence, it was foresight. Even more fascinating, in the sequel, Verne described a spacecraft changing its trajectory using sunlight, an idea that today forms the basis of NASA's solar sail technology. But that wasn't all. In 1863, he wrote Paris in the 20th Century, a book so far ahead of its time that his publisher refused to print it. If I publish this, I'll ruin myself, he said. So the manuscript was locked away for 131 years, until Verne's grandson discovered it in 1994. In it, Verne predicted gasoline-powered cars, traffic jams, air pollution, electric lighting, and high-speed trains. He even wrote about ready-made meals delivered to people's homes. He imagined women working in every profession alongside men, a vision that mirrors the world we live in today. After his death, another work titled In the Year 2889 was published there. Verne described people communicating instantly through a global communication network. In other words, the internet. He even foresaw video calls. Naming the device the phone or telephone, he wrote that newspapers would no longer be printed on paper, but transmitted instantly through this network. Today's digital news. Bankers would access their accounts remotely and carry out instant financial transactions. Exactly as we do now. Verne's imagination wasn't limited to technology. He even foresaw machines that could compose music automatically, an early vision of artificial intelligence. He feared that art itself would one day be automated. And doesn't that sound familiar today? Then came the castle of the Carpathians, villagers. Hear a dead woman singing inside a castle, but she isn't a ghost, she's an illusion, created by an inventor who synchronizes sound and image. In other words, Verne described talking films before cinema even existed, and of course, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Captain Nemo and his submarine, the Nautilus, a vessel powered by electricity, generating its own energy from the sea. It produced oxygen by splitting water through electrolysis, a method still used today on the International Space Station. He didn't just predict the future, he built it with his imagination. But life wasn't always kind to him. One day, his mentally ill nephew shot him. He survived, but was left limping for the rest of his life. He kept writing, but his tone darkened. He began to believe that science would bring not good, but evil. When he died in 1905, he left behind hundreds of works. Today, he remains one of the most translated authors in the world. Even Ataturk had his books in his personal library, because Jules Verne wasn't just a writer, he was a visionary who shaped the imagination of an entire era. On his tombstone, he is depicted breaking through the earth, reaching his hand toward the stars, toward eternal youth and immortality. May his soul rest in light. He truly was the man who saw the future.